Welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news and update show. Now, we've had some big updates coming in regards to midfielders over the last 3 or 4 days that United are interested in midfielder. Amorim wants a midfielder. We could tell after Amorim's pre-season comments after the Leeds match, he wants a midfielder. Romano, Ornstein, Whitwell, the 3 best journalists in the Manchester United space saying Manchester United wants a midfielder. Manchester United plan to sign a midfielder, a goalkeeper, a striker. There's no particular order. It's felt the striker is the preference, but they are the 3 additions Manchester United want to make. Now, we've all sat here and said Carlos Baleba, he would be the dream midfield signing for Manchester United. He absolutely would be. He'd be absolutely perfect. He's absolutely what we want. But can we afford Carlos Baleba? Unless all of a sudden we get some mad bids for Jadon Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho, Malacia, and more, we can't afford Carlos Baleba if we're going to be totally real and totally honest about it. But a player that we can afford, and there's been a couple players I've been talking about as good options that are affordable, are the likes of Javi Guerra and Hayden Hackney. Now, there's actually reports of Crystal Palace going in for Hayden Hackney today, but there is reports about Manchester United and Javi Guerra. Now, we've had reports in the past linking us to Javi Guerra, a player that United have watched, a player that United had scouted. We even got reports coming out a few weeks ago that United were advancing in a deal to sign Javi Guerra. However, and there was agreements and stuff like that. However, Manchester United were being used because I think Valencia were trying to get a bigger bid out of AC Milan at the time or tie him down to a new deal. So we have to remember going into these Javi Guerra links that are coming out of Spain that Valencia want to get him on a new deal. Other clubs are in for him. So Manchester United could be getting used to get Guerra a better deal, for example, because there's not reports coming out from English journalists, but there's a lot of reports coming out from Spanish journalists that Javi Guerra is not going to renew his contract at Valencia and he's going to go to Manchester United, who are willing to pay 22 million, who are making a bid, who want to bring him in. We know that we want the player. We know that we want the midfielder. This is a story that I really want to believe. This is a midfielder I really want to see at Manchester United. I really want to believe, but I do have a fear it's paper talk because it's only coming out on the Spanish side of things, which means it could be briefed by Guerrera's agent to get him the deal he wants at Valencia. That is my only fear. But regardless of that, let's get into the story. Let's hope Romano or Ornstein or someone credible can confirm this story because I really want to believe this. This is a midfielder that I've been talking about that I really want. I really want to believe this. Honestly, I think he'd be a Sandro Tonali type player in the future. So let's get into it. So the first thing I saw, and I'm going to share my screen here, was put out by United exclusive because I couldn't actually find the report itself. I'm assuming the report itself was in Spanish. But it's come out and said, first of all, this. Javi Guerra has decided to reject the renewal offer that Valencia have put on the table just under a week ago. The player and his agency have analysed the proposal calmly and decided it doesn't fit their needs. They expect something better from Valencia. This first story, first of all, stinks of Javi Guerra wants more wages and a better deal at Valencia. Let's get my agent to brief that I'm close to joining United to scare Valencia into doing that. This is what this story stinks of, an agent brief. Let's be honest. United are keeping an eye on the player and continue to work behind the scenes to bring him to the Premier League. They're willing to pay 22 million, which, what a bargain. If you can get Javi Guerra for 22 million, what a bargain. What a bargain, what a bargain. And you can't really go wrong with Spanish midfielders these days. They're really technically good, but I think he's quite physically good, which would be the concern, bring him into the Premier League, all of that. You know, for me, you know, he's rejected a new contract offer from Valencia, apparently closing in on a move to United, but I would be stunned if we got him. I would be stunned if we got him. I want to believe this. I really like the player. I'm worried it's paper talk. I do believe that this is probably paper talk, that United are probably being used to get him a deal elsewhere. I want to believe it. I don't quite believe it yet. But we've got further reports coming in on the player from other sources out of Spain. Now, again, if someone that is a Man United-based source, it doesn't even have to be Ornstein or Romano. But if we actually have a source on the Man United side of things come out and confirm this, I will start to feel quite positive about this. But we haven't had a United-based source confirm this yet. But this is what's come out, which I'm hoping is true, because this would be a great deal. This would be a bargain. Man United are ready to finalise the 21.5 million signing of Javi Guerra. Javi has given a verbal green light to join, despite interest from elsewhere. Manchester United want to wrap up a deal quickly. So now reports are coming out after this first report that United are ready to finalise a 21.5 million signing of Guerra, which is an absolute bargain for a midfielder with his qualities. Absolute bargain. That is less than half the price of Ugarte, and we're going to have a conversation about Ugarte in today's video, hence why it's in the thumbnail. Javi has given the green light to join United, despite interest from elsewhere, and he wants to wrap up the deal quickly. So now we're being told that United are ready to do a deal quickly for this midfielder, which doesn't sound like Man United, because Man United and quick in the same sentence doesn't always work together the best. When are Manchester United quick? Do you know what I mean? But Manchester United are ready to finalise the 21.5 million signing of Javi Guerra. Javi has given the verbal green light, blah, 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 blah. So that came out. And look, I hope that that is true. And I hope that we are looking to do a quick deal for Guerra. But that's not very Man United, but they're saying green light from the player. Now, green light from the player, again, could be a little bit of agent talk. Oh, you know, my client wants to join Manchester United, so you best go give him that new deal. It could be a little bit of agent talk. But, look, for me, if you can get Javi Guerra for 21 million, you go and do that. Because he could be one of those world-class Spanish midfielders. Honestly, he could be that. We need a midfielder. I mean, Guillem says United must forget about striker and sign Carlos Baleba, win the midfield period. I'm at the point where Xerxes can play striker and Buma can play there, Cunha can play there. We need a striker, don't get me wrong. But if the striker options are an overpriced Nicholas Jackson and an overpriced Benjamin Sesko and a not convincing Moise Kean and a 30-year-old Ollie Watkins that could be overpriced, you could look at it and say the striker market isn't great. Let's spend the money on a midfielder. We've got a lot of options that can play striker, get a cheaper striker at the end of the window just for depth. I do look at it that way. The problem with Baleba is he's probably going to be around 100 million. But as Malp says here, 17 million for Lemens, 21.5 million for Guerra. That is two good technical signings, good profiling from United for less than 40 million. That would be good business from United. Considering we spent 40 million on some crap players, we could get two potentially good players for less than that. Okay? For less than that. But let's continue on, because there's now another source talking about Guerra to Manchester United. Again, I'm going to say, take this with a pinch of salt. But reports are coming in of a Manchester United bid. Now reports are coming out that we're ready to make our bid to sign the player. Manchester United are preparing a 22 million bid for Javi Guerra. But Valencia will not accept anything less than 26 million. So now reports are coming out that not only we're interested in, not only have we got the green light, but another report has come out just now and said that United are making a bid for Guerra. We're making a bid, 22 million for Guerra, which would be fantastic bit of business, fantastic deal, and all of that. We've got another update from an English source. Nathan Salt, who is a Man United-based source, has confirmed that Javi Guerra has turned down Valencia's opening offer for a new contract. So he has turned down an offer from a Valencia new contract. That has been confirmed by a Manchester United source. However, that doesn't necessarily mean he's coming to Manchester United. So we just, right now, Javi Guerra is in the process of trying to get a new deal at Valencia. He's in the process of trying to get a new deal at Valencia. He's turned down the first offer from Valencia for a new deal. Okay? When you want a nice new money contract signing, who do you link yourself to? Man United. If you're a player at Valencia and you want to sign a new contract with Valencia and you want a nice paycheck and you're not happy with what they offered you and you know that United have scouted you and watched you, you let Valencia know. Well, remember, Manchester United were watching me earlier the other month. Manchester United were watching me the other month. You've given me a new contract offer. It's not really the wages I want. Did you not forget that Man United have been looking at me? Do you not see the wages that Man United will pay? And then the agent will go, yeah, Man United are closing in a deal. The player's open to the deal. United are going to pay him this amount, get a deal done quick. Scares Valencia into all of a sudden upping the contract offer. Scares them into that. That's what worries me. He's in the process of trying to get Valencia, trying to sign a new deal with Valencia. He's rejected that, but Valencia aren't worried yet. Are Manchester United in for this guy? What a bargain, what a deal, what a move. Or are we being used? That is the question. Valencia will not accept anything less than 26 million. We're preparing a 22 million bid. 26 million for Guerra, good business. Midfield signing done, under 30 million. Profile we need, could be the next Sandro Tonali. Perfect, brilliant, bish, bash, bosh. Let's go. But are we being used? That is the fear. That is the fear. That is the fear. Now, Nathan Salt's saying he has rejected the contract offer with Valencia is at least some kind of confirmation on that end of things. A good journalist from our side has said, well, he is rejecting the contract offer. But who knows? I mean, for me, just pay the 26 million. It's a bargain. It's a steal. If he wants the move, you do it. I think physically he'd be fine as well. If he wants the move, you do it. Spanish midfielders, Premier League, very good track record as well. If we got Baleba, a good striker, a good goalkeeper, and a wing back, I think we could get top 5, not top 4. But I'm talking like good, like not average players. Had United signed Sesko in the first place ahead of Højlund, things could be different and our season would not have been the worst. I think Sesko, I get what you mean. I think Sesko would have had a better season for us last year than Højlund. But I look at Sesko, and with Sesko, you're still buying off potential. Like, Sesko is good, and he's better than Højlund right now, of course. But with Sesko, there's so many elements of his game that are still raw now, where I don't think he completely changes United a whole lot. I think if Man United were a really good side and Sesko was the final piece to the puzzle, fantastic signing. But because we're not a good side and he's not the final piece to the puzzle, I think Sesko's very raw. And I don't think he massively transforms United. You're buying Sancho based off potential more than what he's going to bring in now. But yeah, he would have got maybe 9 or 10 goals. Højlund got 4. I don't think Sesko would have scored 20 goals for us last season, but I think he could have got a good 9 or 10, if I was going to be totally honest. We could still get Sesko, but could cost 90 million. I don't think he's worth 90 million. I like Sesko, but I wouldn't want to spend more than 60 million on a young striker, considering what happened with Højlund. Yeah. I generally think Xerxes will complement dynamic forwards like Quinlan and Bumo. Big Certs will be a Bobby Firmino. I agree. When you've got 2 goal-scoring wingers, if you have a striker that's a facilitator, it can work really well. I completely agree. Completely agree with that comment. Hello from Turkey. I am watching you as a Galatasaray fan. Osimhen is ours. You've come here to brag. You've come here to brag about Osimhen. You know what? The dream striker was Victor Osimhen for Man United. I am jealous. I am jealous that Galatasaray got Osimhen. I don't know what wages you've offered him. I don't know what the wage demands were, but Victor Osimhen would have been the dream striker for United. He's better than Gyökeres. He's better than Delap. He's better than Ekitike. Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen would have been the dream. Particularly when Bumo's crossing, Victor Osimhen would have been the dream striker for United. It would have been. Someone said 850k a week. Surely not. Osimhen wages, Galatasaray. Surely not. Surely not that much. I don't know what he's on. I don't know what he wanted, but I don't think it would have been that. I don't think Galatasaray have that kind of money. Vissa, I'm open to getting Vissa. Getting Vissa and Bumo at Man United. I think Brentford won't sell to us, but Tottenham and Newcastle are making moves for Vissa. I don't know if Brentford will sell. Yeah. Please bring him in. What a player. Best midfield signing since Carrick. I mean, I've watched Guerra. I've watched Javi Guerra. I've watched a bit of him. I like him. I've not watched him enough to be like, I know everything about him. So I don't know if he'd be as good as Carrick, but I think value for money, Guerra would be good value. 250k. I'd give Osimhen 250k to come to United. 250k a week. You might have done that. I think with Champions League football, maybe we could have afforded that. Who knows? Anyway, let's continue on into some more news, some more updates coming out in regards to United. I don't know how long this live stream can be, by the way. I'm in a really bad mood. I was out yesterday working on my laptop. Yeah. Packed up all my stuff. Didn't pack my laptop charger. Left my laptop charger in a coffee shop somewhere. So I am got about 4 videos to do today in the hope that my laptop doesn't run out of battery. Fingers crossed. And I need to find somewhere to get a new charger from, and I don't have the time. So this will probably be a half-an-hour live show because your girl is in a mood. Your girl is in a mood because she's lost a laptop charger and she's really busy the next few days. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get one. But yeah, let's continue on into Javi Guerra. Why was it? I said his name the wrong way around. Javi Guerra, and talk about the player himself. But yeah, Alice is running on low power mode. I can't barely see my screen. I've got 69%. Not even lying, it is actually 69%. 69% battery to get me through the day. To do about 3 videos. Any USC will work. Can you charge a MacBook with a USC? I'm actually gonna. Can you actually? Do I not need to buy a charger? Can I charge this? Let me see. I'm going to check if I can charge this. Can you charge any? Can you actually charge a MacBook through USB? Surely you need the charger, right? I don't know. She's going to try this quickly. I've got a USB on me. I don't know if this will charge it. Oh! Okay, it's charging. Thank you, David. You've just saved me there. We are using my USB to charge my MacBook. Okay, we've been somewhat saved. That is actually working. Oh no, it says battery's not charging. Oh, it made the noise. It made the noise. You know, it made the charger noise when I plugged it in, and it said it's not charging. What a knob. What a knob. I've just been trolled. Someone said you can do it on your phone charger. Maybe that'd be why. My USB's plugged into a light right now, so probably not the best source of that. But it will work. It will be slow. I mean, any kind of charge will do until I get a new bloody charger. I'm fuming about that. People don't understand. But anyway, back to topics. Back to news. I want to talk about Javi Guerra, and I want to talk about Setzko, and I want to talk about Ugarte. First of all, Ugarte. I want to have a conversation about it. Let me know down below, how do you guys feel about Ugarte? I have mixed thoughts on Ugarte. I like the player a lot more than other people do, and I think there's a weird hatred towards Ugarte that in our fan base that has definitely gone too far. Some of the Ugarte hate I see online from our fan base, I think is absolutely nuts. I think it's absolutely crazy. Like, I don't get this Ugarte hate. Okay, we shouldn't have spent 50 million on Ugarte. Ugarte's a player that if we got him for 30 million, I'm happy with it because I think he's a good squad player. Ugarte brings much needed legs to United. Manchester United last season, our biggest issue was a lack of legs in midfield. And Ugarte ticks that box. He brings legs in midfield. He's a good ball winner. And actually, he's good on the ball in the final third, just not in our first third when it comes to back to goal build up, progressing play, which is a big weakness of ours. I like Ugarte as a player off the ball. And we needed that kind of profile. But we didn't need to spend 50 million on a guy with limitations on the ball. I think the fact that we're looking at a midfielder, that Amorim wants to sign a midfielder, the fact that Amorim is playing Casemiro and Bruno as his first choice midfield two, despite Ugarte being brought in for 50 million and playing his best football under Amorim, that is a concern. Don't get me wrong, I look at Ugarte. Ugarte took a month and a half to settle in at United. Wasn't very good under Ten Hag. Van Nistelrooy came in, Ugarte and Casemiro played a few games together, Ugarte was very good. Ruben Amorim came in, Ugarte was very good. We go from November all the way up until about February. I thought Ugarte was very good. From November to about February, I thought Ugarte was very good. I thought he was very key. And I felt when we didn't have him and he picked up some minor problems, we missed him. I thought he was really good. And I was really happy with what I saw from Ugarte, particularly in those big games. He was good. But then I think he got some injuries. He dropped off a bit and Casemiro gradually took his place. And then we start to see his liabilities. I think in the big games, Arsenal, Liverpool, Ugarte was very good because he can do everything you want off the ball and it improved our physicality. But on the ball, we were seeing the limitations in Ugarte's game. And because we don't have a midfielder that could perfectly complement Ugarte, we were struggling. Okay? So I think with Ugarte, there's a good player there and I'm happy to keep him. I don't want to sell him. Some people want to sell him. I don't want to sell him. He brings much needed physicality and legs to the midfield, which we lacked versus Leeds. We massively lacked versus Leeds. But he doesn't have that progression. And the thing that annoys me about Ruben Amorim is Ruben Amorim wants our central centre-back to basically progress the ball. Ruben Amorim wants our central centre-back to step up into midfield in build-up. Yeah? It doesn't work. Our central centre-back stepping up into midfield and build-up doesn't work. If you played Casemiro central centre-back and he acted like a third midfielder, if you played Aiden Heaven central centre-back because he's played midfield in the past, maybe it could work. But Amorim is persisting with that. It doesn't work with De Ligt. So when you have De Ligt stepping up into midfield with Ugarte in midfield, it's not working. If you're going to do that, you might as well play Maino in midfield because at least he can take the ball with his back to goal and progress play. Ugarte brings the physical attributes, but we need someone that can progress play. We need someone that can break lines. And who are those players? Carlos Baleba, out of budget, probably not going to get him. Adam Wharton, but there's still concerns how would he do physically, but Adam Wharton's definitely up there, but he's more advanced. And and obviously Sandro Tonali. We're not getting Sandro Tonali. He's not leaving Newcastle. They're the players that come to mind. So when I look at, okay, well, we're going to have to look out the box. There's Hayden Hackney. He's only playing the Championship, so it's a risk, but he's got the progressive ability. And there's Javi Guerra. You've got to look outside the box. You've got to look outside the box. I feel like Ugarte needs a partner. Ugarte's good. Ugarte needs better players around him. I rate him. I think, and then we've got his arse. He's okay. Yeah. Ugarte is very good off the ball. Limitations on the ball, but with the right partner, he's a very good player. Is he a 50 million player for me? No. He's not a 50 million pound player for me. Is he a valuable squad player? Yes. Do you want to be spending 50 million on a squad player? No. He needs to improve elements of his game. I think he's overhated. I think he needs a partner. I think there's a decent player there that can be good in decent games. But yeah, I'm not fully convinced by the signing. But I see people saying they hate him, he's rubbish, they want him gone. I don't want him gone. He's got value, he's got legs. That's something we lack, physicality. You know, he gets way too much stick. But we need a good midfielder. We need a good midfielder. You know, he seeks and destroys, which is good. For his specific job, it's good, but it's not the complete profile. And I think that's a good way to describe it. He's not the complete profile. And I think he showed elements this. He had some good periods and bad periods this season. I actually think he's better as an 8 than a 6, the way he was sort of getting forward and crashing. You know those Europa League games where he was actually making an impact in the final third with goals and assists? I think he's actually better as an 8, Ugarte, which is why I'm talking about us needing a 6. Needing a 6 that is a specialist at progressing the ball in deep build-up, but also got the physical attributes. Maino has got the technical attributes, but not the physical attributes. We need somebody like Maino, but has got the physical attributes to be a 6. That's what we need. I think Ugarte is better as an 8. Ugarte is fine, and for those who really see he's improving a lot, makes really good effort and one of our most energetic players. Ugarte is good for energy. He's good in the bigger games against high press midfielders. He's good when we've got a defensive shift to do. But when we dominate possession and when our ball progression isn't great, that doesn't help. And our ball progression often comes with our wing backs, which is fine. But I think if we're going to step De Ligt up and build up, we need a bit of ball progression to come more from midfield. Yeah. What do you think of the midfield? I just don't know. I honestly think the best way to get round Amorim wanting his central centre-back to step up is either play Casemiro as the central centre-back or Aiden Heaven as the central centre-back, or we play Maino deeper. But I don't think Maino can play with Bruno. I don't think Maino can play with Bruno in a midfield 2. Maino didn't look good with Ugarte in a midfield 2. I'd honestly look at finding the perfect 6 that could allow Maino to play in a midfield 2. I think because I don't want Maino as a 10. I know he did well there, but I'd honestly look at trying to find who is the perfect 6 so we can play Maino in midfield 2. And that would have been Amadou Onana. Villa want Garnacho. Amadou Onana, hello, maybe. But that's what I'd look at. Why don't we try Leacher in the pivot? I mean, they might try him central centre-back, but Amorim very much likes him as a wide centre-back because he's our best ball-playing centre-back, and we progress wide. Under Amorim, our ball progression is wide, so that's why he likes him. Obviously, Sadio Kone, I want to see him in pre-season. I want to see him get opportunities, but we can't, with Man United, we can't rely on an 18-year-old to come in and be what we need to be. I mean, you never know. You see Barcelona with Pedri and Yamal. There could be a special player in Sadio Kone, but we've got to limit expectations a little bit. David Shaw says Maino in heaven. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Maino is faster than Baleba. Is he? I don't know about that. I wouldn't say he was. I like Maino, but there's definitely some physical limitations. And I think if you put him with an Amadou Onana, it could work. Heaven at left centre-back, Leacher in the pivot. I would have Leacher at left centre-back, Heaven central centre-back. I'd quite like to see Yoro right centre-back, Heaven central centre-back, because he played that one game there, post-season tour, and Leacher left centre-back when Leacher's fit. I'd quite like to see that. I would say Baleba's probably more quicker and more athletic than Maino from what I've seen. I would say that. I think Maino's maybe technically better and a bit less rash than Baleba. But I think in terms of the physical abilities, Baleba for me is probably better than Maino. Oh, so guys, I want to talk about a few other stories. I wanted to just talk about Guerra, actually, quickly. I made some notes on Guerra, but I want to talk about this Tottenham Garnacho story going about, because I don't want to do a whole show on midfield. But under 23 midfielders who had the most tackles and most take-ons in the Liga, you had Guerra, Pedri, and Bellingham. So good metrics there. With Guerra, he's a deep-lying playmaker, can play in the midfield too, played in the midfield too for Spain under-21s, played in the midfield too for Valencia, press resistant, good at shielding the ball, good at progressive switches, good technical IQ. I'd like Javi Guerra. Don't think we're going to get him. Don't think we're going to get him. I think he'd do well in that Amorim system because he can play in the midfield too. He can be both the anchor and the player that can advance play. I think he would offer a good balance between control and dynamism, which is suited for what we need. And I think he has potential to grow into an actual number 6. I would like him. I don't know if we're going to get him. We know from Romano, Amorim wants a midfielder that can bring intensity, and that was a key word during talks. We know from Laurie Whitwell and Ornstein we're looking at midfielders, although Laurie Whitwell said conversations are at preliminary stage. He said that 2 days ago. Crystal Palace are reportedly monitoring, of course, not Adam Morton, Hayden Hackney, another player that's been linked. But we've got a few links of Garnacho to Tottenham that I want to talk about. Because I think, for me, at the end of the day, Manchester United being able to sign a midfielder, I think our summer depends on Garnacho's sale. We didn't get money for Rashford. F knows what's going on with Sancho. F knows what's going on with Anthony. The guy that's going to bring us in potentially 50 million, 60 million pure profit is Garnacho. So that could give us the funds to sign a striker and sign a midfielder. Now, reports are coming out that Tottenham Hotspur are stepping up their pursuit of United forward Garnacho. Just going to put this here. Villa, Chelsea, Tottenham. All interested in Garnacho. Villa have Emi Martinez and Watkins that we've been linked to. I personally like Amadou Onana. Chelsea have Jackson that we've been linked to. You cannot rule out swap. I don't want to swap Garnacho. I want to sell Garnacho for money and then go and buy a striker and midfielder that we need. Not swapping him and getting Jackson in return. I want that. I want the Garnacho money to go on a midfielder. But Tottenham are again being linked to Alejandro Garnacho. Again being linked to Garnacho. So it could be one to watch. Tottenham put 60 million down on Gibbs White. If that doesn't happen, we know they've got 60 million. Give us 60 million for Garnacho, please. You know, go and do it. That's all I'm saying. Will they do it? They don't need it. Tottenham have got Tell, left wing, Mikey Moore, left wing, and Odebear, left wing. All 3 of those players' best position is left wing. They've got Kudus and Brennan Johnson, right wing. If Tottenham are going to bring in a left winger, they should bring in a 25, 26-year-old in their prime left winger. Probably not Garnacho because he's young and you've got a lot of young left wingers. But if they spend 60 million on him, it ain't my problem. It ain't my problem. That's all I'm going to say. But there is talk about Garnacho to Tottenham. Maybe we can watch this one. Maybe something advances. Be interesting to see. I'd quite like to see Garnacho go for 60 million. He's not on tour. We need to get rid of him. Amorim doesn't want him back. He's becoming a problem. And look, if Gittins is 55 million, if Alanga's 55 million, we should be able to get 60 million for Garnacho. But at this rate, because it's dragged on so long and we want to get a sale done, I take 50 million. Under 50 million is a joke. It would be a joke on Ineos, but I would take it. You know, if it drags on and drags on and drags on, you just go, you know what, I'd accept this or I'd accept that. Okay. Anyway, people, I am going to wrap up the live show here, saving battery, but apparently I can use the USB-C, which is good, so we're going to try that out. But look, I'm just going to see if there's anyone to redirect to. Like, nobody's live right now. But yeah, big up everyone for tuning in to today's live show. Thank you for watching. Bye.